What's up, Disrupt Nation? My name's Tony Delgado, and I want you to smash the like button, hit subscribe, and hit the bell so that you get post notifications every single time that we drop a new video. Now let's get into it. What's up, Disrupt Nation? My name is Tony Delgado, and today we have a super special guest, Javier Soto. Javier, thank you so much for being here, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
So for the people at home that don't know, Javier is a huge cryptocurrency enthusiast, and Javier also works full-time at a startup accelerator, an investment firm that invests into early stage startups. So Javier, I'm so excited to dive in, and we're gonna talk about NFTs, we're gonna talk about crypto, but before we talk about any of that, I wanna talk about the startup ecosystem and the work that you do on a daily basis.
Awesome, thank you so much. So on a daily basis, working with the startup accelerator, we focus in helping early stage startups do a few different things. One of them is find funding. I think that's one of the important things when you're building a company, you're trying to scale. If you're building a startup, startups equals growth. So if you're trying to build a startup, you're trying to grow. And to grow, you need capital. So I think that's one of the first things that we do. And we also use our network of many cities that we're in to leverage that to help startups sell their product into different communities.
That's incredible. And yeah, I mean, that's the biggest hurdle for a lot of early stage startups is access to capital, right? Getting the money that they need and the investments that they need to get to the next level. And then also the mentorship, right?
Yeah.
What do you think one of the biggest pitfalls that you see with early age startups?
Well, I think is getting to an MVP. A lot of founders, when they're building a startup, they want to put out the perfect product. And that is one of the pitfalls, just because, when you're building a solution for customers and you focus in building that product and you forget to communicate and to put a product in front of potential customers because you want it to be perfect, you miss that feedback, that information that will make your product the way
even better,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Well, and that's the misconception is that there's such a thing as perfect. There's no such thing as perfect, right? Look at Facebook 5 years ago. It was a completely different app. They're adding features every day, every year. There's a whole set of new features that comes out, and it'll essentially, I guess, never be perfect, right? Because you'll keep evolving.
Yeah, it will never be perfect, and it will always be evolving because of your customers. And the one thing that when you're building a startup, again, you're trying to grow. So a startup is a company that grows at a fast pace. And the only way you can grow a company at a fast pace is if you know the customers that you will acquire. So it's not a product thing. It's understanding a solution that you can put right away in front of the customers and understanding who they are and getting more and more and more. And then once you have enough, then you're like, go ask again. What else do they want? And then you get more and more and more, and it's a process. But a lot of founders go, I'm like, I want to build the perfect product. They keep working, burning cash. Right?
Burning cash and never releasing anything.
Exactly.
So they don't even really know if it's good because if it's good, is your customer at home?
Exactly, and it's like a movie, right? If you think about your producer movie, and sometimes if you take too much time to edit and edit and edit, you never know if the movie's actually any good. So you need to go out and sell tickets and just, I joke about it and say, like, you need to take your baby out there and you need to face the truth that someone will tell you that your baby is ugly, and that's okay, because you had the courage to go out there and do that, and then you can come back and say, okay, I'm going to start fixing this a bit so it gets better. But it's that part that I think it's one of the biggest issues when founders are trying to build a startup.
Incredible. So Javier, I want to talk a little bit more about your backstory. So how did you get involved in the technology ecosystem?
Wow. Do I go back to when I was a kid in my first computer? So let's do that. Let's do that because I think it's a fun story. When I was like in sixth grade, I was a kid that I liked to have my own things. And I remember my mom always buying things for my family, my brothers and all that. But every time she bought something, she was like, "Oh, now you have to do like the patio, or you have to do this or that." I'm like, I don't want to live like this, you know. I don't like. I need to figure out a way to get out of this. You know,
I can't be a slave for toys, Mom.
Exactly. It's true. So what I did was I found this box that my dad had with basketball trading cards, and I just put them on the floor. And I said, well, you know, how can I turn this into some like money or cash? And I saw immediately, I'm like, well, what would make me want to buy any of those cards? So I divided it into 3 groups. It was like the not great ones, the medium ones, and the fairly good, because I already took all the good ones and had them in the stash, right? So I packed them in all these small packs. And I went back to school and I sold them for 50 cents. So long story short, I made about $650.
Wow.
Which was
That's a lot for a kid.
Yeah, I thought I was like rich. I'm like, boom, I got all my money. But then, you know, I was a tech kid, so I wanted to buy like some technological items. So I remember I bought a camera, a Sony camera, and I wanted to buy a computer. But by then, it was 1990. $8.99, and eBay existed, but they didn't have PayPal. So I went on eBay and found this Dell Latitude computer, and I went and bought it. But then when I went to pay, you had to pay either with a credit card or something, which I didn't, and my dad was like, nope. I was like, well, I needed to send a money order. So I sent a money order to Ukraine.
Wow.
$625, bought this computer. And I was like, well, and like 2.5 weeks after, computer comes in, my Dell Latitude. And that's where I started doing, you know, kind of online businesses, selling on eBay, buying stuff. And from then on, it was like, that was it. That was my gateway into.
That's incredible. I thought the story was going to end worse. I was like, no, he sent the money to Ukraine. It's not coming back. But you trusted the guy, and you probably looked at his feedback. And
Yeah.
That's one thing that I've noticed in business and in life. You know, there are so many scams out there, and we always warn about them, ways to protect yourself. But there are a lot of good, honest people, and you know, and you have to use common sense. So you probably saw a lot of people that bought that computer before, and they had some feedback.
Yeah,
and
so
advice.
I understood like eBay at the moment, and it was like a very kind of clunky website. It's not by any means what it is today, but they had the feedback system, and I saw this person had like 20 feedback. That was that much, but it looked legit. But the other thing is, I think at that moment and point in time, people did not really understood the technology and how it worked. So I imagine people thinking it's like, oh, if I don't send this, the internet police is going to come get me, right?
Yeah.
Because people yet are this is very new, so people are yet to understand and to grasp the concept. So I think that's part of it. It was kind of mystified, and that's what I think when new technologies come in. There's a lot of mysticism and you know, there's a lot of like doubt, but that also helps kind of regulate the system.
Well, that's what's going on right now in the cryptocurrency industry. It's a new thing. It's, you know, they're calling it the internet of money. And now with this new thing, there's a lot of skepticism. There's a lot of people who they don't know what to do with this new technology.
I prefer to call it the internet of value. I think that's where we're headed, and we're, you know, cryptocurrencies and blockchain. All of itself is building the internet of value, the internet of legitimacy and provenance, and that's very interesting. And I think that's where it's very promising, because if you think about the internet by itself, there's a lot of copying, there's a lot of, you know, things that pop out and they're the same like the other one, and you can't really look for provenance. It's really hard. But what blockchain, and especially with NFTs that are coming in, are giving the ability for creators to really set the stage for provenance of things, so that they can say like, I'm creating this, and this is coming from my address, and my address is public. So anything that is like this, if it's coming from this address, then it's mine. If it's not, it's a fake.
Yeah, it could be a fake. So it's, you know, the ultimate form of authenticity is the blockchain, because there's a unique serial number, there's a unique code that you can go back and track and see exactly where these collectibles and these things are coming from. So let's talk a little bit about the NFT space and maybe just crypto in general. How did you get involved in the cryptocurrency space?
So I think I got involved, you know, back in 2016, you know, around that, or maybe late 2016. I started, just friends with people because I was curious, and started researching. It was Bitcoin at the moment, and there's also Ethereum and all these coins. I'm like, you know what? I read a bit. I'm like, oh, this makes sense. Digital money. Yeah, of course. There's PayPal. I use PayPal since it started, and I understood the need for being able to transact because I was already doing since I was like 12. I was doing transactions with people in different parts of the world. Once, when I was like 17, I had a business that sold products to people in South Africa and London, all these places. So I already was doing transactions like that, and I knew that there's an issue, exchanging currencies.
Yeah.
So I'm like, when I saw this, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. I'm gonna invest in this and put some money in, And at first, it was really a good ride. Then I lost a bunch of money. Like
like everyone.
Like everyone.
1 year later.
Yeah, and then I got a bit skeptical and all that, but it did help me get educated. I think that experience, what it did to me was because at the moment I was like, oh, I understand technology, I understand this. I don't really need to go far deep into trying to learn about this, but losing some amount of money really set me in the path of like, wait. This sounded like a good idea and like a good technology. It didn't change. Something happened. So let me go and step back and learn about it. So
I dig in and like really do my research.
Yeah.
Now.
So it took me about 2 years to get back. So in 2019, sort of before the pandemic, I got back in it again. I'm like, oh my God. But this time, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna double down, and I'm gonna hold and wait, and it paid off.
Yeah,
paid off. How things went back. So and it are going right now.
And I know that you do some sort of more advanced trading strategies. I know that you dabble in different types of coins. What is your process when you're looking for new projects to get involved into, new investments to make in the crypto space?
So there are a couple of things that I look at. First, I try to stay in spaces where I'm passionate about. So I would, if I can give, again, I'm not giving any financial advice to anyone because I don't want that liability. But I do have to say that if you are looking to get into crypto and you're looking to invest in some project, my first recommendation is try to look for something an industry that you feel connected to. What does that mean? So if you like sports, if you like e-gaming or whatever you like, crypto's everywhere. Blockchain will affect everything that exists under the sun, right? So every industry that you see that exists in the physical space will exist in the crypto and blockchain space. So you should just go and Google, whatever industry and crypto, and you'll start seeing, names pop up, and then gather those names and go do some research. Just go to a web page, either Discord, which is there's app called Discord where the community, the direct tied community of that project kind of connects and they talk. That's a really good place to go ahead and find some intel. Twitter.
Well, that's the thing. All of these projects, they're all based on community, right?
Yeah.
They're open source projects, and they're looking for people that want to get involved. So a lot of them will have Discord chats, or they'll have a Telegram chat. They'll have a newsletter. So really, before you make an investment into a project, you want to do your research. You want to really dig into that project and see what they're all about. Connect with the founders on social media and follow them and connect with them and really engulf yourself in the ecosystem. And the beautiful thing about crypto is they're actually much more open arms than if you wanted to invest in Twitter, for example. It's not really easy to be friends with Jack.
Exactly.
But
you'll be surprised. They'll talk to you. Like they'll because they a lot of these founders and a lot of these people that are really close, or like the founding teams, are open. They will talk. They will connect. So that's the one thing that I would encourage everyone to reach out. Reach out, but before you reach out, you just make sure you get educated a bit about the project, so you can ask questions. You can have a meaningful conversation. That's because again, these people are working hard. They're trying to build the technology that's going to change the world. So like, be cognizant of their time. And the other thing, outside of doing that, I think is surround yourself or try to get a team, or either whether it's a school or a network that understands this and is also doing the research. I think that's the, if I'm going to say what's the most important thing, is you need to get into a group or understand or get more people around this, because you can do so much, right? But if you connect with other people that are also doing that, then the workload becomes a lot less.
Absolutely. So now let's pivot over onto the NFT space. So we all know the crypto space. We know blockchain technology is taking over the world. Big institutions, big companies are getting involved. Tesla just invested a big part of their savings into Bitcoin. But now let's pivot over into the NFT space, so the digital collectible space. So in your own words, what are NFTs?
Well, NFTs are...
Thank you for checking out this clip of the Disrupt Crypto Bootcamp. If you want to watch the full class, click the link below or go to disruptweek.com/crypto and take our free masterclass. We record new classes every single week. Thank you so much again. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube algorithm, and I'll see you in the next video.